Welcome to TV 16's Live at 5. I'm John Michael Cronin.
And I'm TJ Gray. 2 explosions at the Boston Marathon leaves multiple people injured.
And the Arkansas House rejects a funding for health care expansion.
We'll have all that for you and more, but first, your TV 16 news starts right now.
At least 2 explosions left nearly 50 people injured at the Boston Marathon finish line today. According to the latest reports, at least 50 people have been injured and 12 have been confirmed dead. The blasts happened a few seconds apart in downtown Boston's Copley Square, about an hour after the first runners had crossed the finish line. Here you can see the smoke and people running trying to get away. Paramedics treated several victims at the scene. At least 4 people were taken to the hospital. Police cleared everyone from the finish line and blocked off the area. The preliminary reports say the explosions were caused by homemade bombs. There were over 35 Arkansas runners at the marathon. President Obama will be speaking on the incident in just about 10 minutes. We'll have more information as it develops.
Safety is extremely important for college and university campuses. Harding University may have their own police department in the near future. Reporter Lauren Scharf has more on the story.
This is the second time that Representative Mark Viviano has proposed this bill. It now passes.
That allows private universities the ability to have police officers that can now have arrest powers, detention powers, and investigative powers. Previously, that ability only resided with public universities. So as you know, we have a number of private universities in the state of Arkansas. We've seen a lot of cases of criminal activity that occurs on these private university campuses, which in many cases are bigger than a number of our cities in Arkansas. So this bill simply gave them the ability to have the same police powers as a public university. If they see a criminal activity occur, they can now arrest the person, detain the person, and be part of the investigation process.
The next step in the process is for us to go out and do some research on what exactly is that going to entail, and some of that's brand new. For instance, the Arkansas Law Enforcement Training Academy, the Police Academy, has never offered the academy to private universities before, so they're not even sure how they're going to do that. There's a lot of those details that will work out first on how this can be done, and then those will be presented to probably Dr. McClarty.
This law requires the universities to do the hiring, implementation, and to pick up the funds.
However, there are potential opportunities for some federal grant money.
It would be similar to the model we're already using. We have some armed officers in our department, and then we have some unarmed officers as well. And we would take that model and it would be similar. We would still have some students that work for us that provide security and safety escorts. We would have some people in our department that would not be police officers, but we would have the option, this law gives us the option to have police officers with full police power and authority as well.
In the past, public safety would have to call the local police to arrest people on campus.
And as you know, many times the criminal doesn't stick around very long when they're doing something. So this just gives them greater flexibility, and I think is really a protection for the students and the faculty and employees of these universities.
Harding University having over 7,000 students and faculty, they need to be protected.
Our goal, our role is to serve the students of Harding University. Part of that role is to help do everything we can to make sure that this is a safe campus. And we believe that this is a tool that could help us accomplish that job.
Harding University typically have property crime, things stolen from resident halls and vehicles. Having a police department on campus will help those instances.
But in those instances where it is needed, it's good to have that option.
The Arkansas legislature has pushed this issue. However, it is up to the private universities.
Harding University President Dr. Burks has mentioned in the past that he wanted to have that option. When and if Harding University creates a police department will be up to Harding's new president, Dr. Bruce McClarty.
And Harding University has named a new vice president. President-elect Bruce McClarty named Dr. Dan Williams the vice president for church relations. Williams is currently the minister at College Avenue Church of Christ in El Dorado, Arkansas. He has served in this position for 23 years. Williams also serves as an adjunct faculty member at the Harding School of Theology in Memphis. Williams will assume his new position at Harding University in June.
Little Rock police found a man's body. The police discovered the body of a man in the street early this morning. Police said the victim is 42-year-old Darrell Eugene Henson. Investigators are still trying to determine the reason for the killing and who was behind it.
The body of a Warren woman has been found. Authorities discovered the body in Monticello yesterday. The body has been identified as Tangela Walton, who had been missing for about 2 weeks. Arkansas State Police say a suspect led investigators to where they uncovered Walton's body. The suspect is being held in jail and is expected to make a court appearance this morning.
The body found in North Little Rock has been identified. Police released the identity of a juvenile found shot to death last Friday. The victim has been identified as 15-year-old Austin Addy. Addy was reported missing by his family since last Sunday. The medical examiner made the identification this morning. No further information is available concerning the motive for the killing, and the investigation is ongoing.
A Little Rock cop has been relieved of duty after an incident. Little Rock Police Department says one of its officers was relieved of duty after being linked to a physical altercation in Fayetteville. Officer Jeffrey Harris is now the focus of an internal investigation. Little Rock officials say the department is cooperating with Fayetteville police as they investigate the incident.
A meat recall is expanded to Arkansas. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is expanding a recall of meat products from a Louisiana meat packing company to include Arkansas. Several types of meat from Manda Packing Company has been recalled. The products may have been contaminated with listeria.
The House rejects funding for health care expansion. The Arkansas House of Representatives has voted not to fund the Arkansas private option. The bill received 69 of the needed 75 votes to pass. A second voting could happen as early as tomorrow or be dropped altogether. The bill would have allowed 250,000 uninsured Arkansans to purchase health insurance on exchanges that start January 1st, 2014, as part of the Federal Affordable Care Act.
Coming up after the break, we'll have an update on the Boston Marathon explosions.
We'll have all that for you and more, but first let's take a look at your weather with Kaylee Evans. Kaylee?
Thanks, John Michael. There are storms heading our way, especially tomorrow afternoon and Thursday, and we also have sunshine heading our way for the weekend. Now, temperatures are going to be cooling off as the week progresses, but I'll have all that for you and more after this break.
Knowing the signs of a stroke can save someone's life. All you need to do is remember the word FAST. F is for face, a drooping face, a severe headache, and sudden dimming of vision.
A is for arms, weakness, paralysis, and numbness, particularly on one side of the body.
S is for speech, slurring of words, trouble speaking, and trouble understanding.
T is for time. If symptoms occur, call 911 immediately.
For you. Hey, Mom.
You know, girls, I used to cheer back in my day. Ready? Okay!
That was amazing, amazing, amazing. Mom, that was amazing.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
Weight loss, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
Healing takes time. It also takes knowledge and expertise. Here we learn to reach out to and care for others through the application of medicine and true compassion. we understand that our mission is to take our training and abilities out into the world where they can and do heal the lives of others. For us, that mission began in a place of faith, learning, and living. Harding University.
Welcome back to TV 16. It's currently 77 degrees here in Searcy, 7-mile-per-hour winds coming in from the south, and the sun's going to set tonight at around 7:40. Now, going ahead to today's almanac, we're switching things up a bit today. Today's low was 74 with a high of 70. On average, it's 53 with a high of 73. But last year on this day, the low was 56 with a high of 83. So both today, or that year has been one for the record books, but this year has not been. There's been no rainfall today. But that's going to change. Now, before we talk about that changing, let's take a look at our surface map. Now, right here you can see that there is a low-pressure system coming in through just the corner of northwest Arkansas, but it's going to move out before, and then more is going to come in. Right here, there is rain, and it's heading down our way. Now, taking a look at our state temperatures. It's 75 in the Mountain Home, Harrison area, 77 in West Memphis, 76 in Little Rock, 80 in Pine Bluff, 82 in El Dorado, and 83 in Monticello. Across White County, the temperatures are ranging between 76 in Pangburn and Bradford, 75 in Judsonia, 77 in Searcy, and 77 in Beebe also. Now for tonight's temperature, average is going to be about 74. It's a little warmer than that right now, but temperatures drop as the evening goes, as we know. There will be low winds, and it's going to be very clear tonight. For looking at our evening planner with what we're going to expect, the temperature is supposed to jump up a little in the next hour to give us 79 degrees. And then at 9, the sun will be gone and the moon will be out. It'll be 72. At midnight, the moon is still going to be there. It'll be 68. Now, the clouds are rolling in after midnight, and they're going to stay there until tomorrow. For tomorrow's forecast, it's going to be 79 of a high of 79 with 9-mile-per-hour winds, so the wind's jumping up a little bit, as is the temperature. It's going to be very cloudy throughout the day until about 2 o'clock, and that's when there's a possible thunderstorm. There's about 50% chance for that, but it'll be warm for most of the day despite the chance of rain. Now, going to our 5-day forecast, as I said, tomorrow is going to be about 80, and then Wednesday is going to be 81. It's going to be pretty sunny that day with chance of clouds. Thursday is going to be 77 with a 75% chance of rain. It's going to be supposed to be stormy in the morning and then go to rain in the rest of the evening with the chance of precipitation going up. Friday and Saturday will be in the 60s, and it's going to be very sunny, although it's going to be cool. That's all I have for you right now. Now back to Jay at the desk.
As we mentioned earlier, there were 2 explosions that went off at the Boston Marathon earlier today, and we have an update on the situation. President Obama will deliver a statement at 5:10 this evening, and if you need to make a telephone call to check on friends and relatives, you can call 1-617-635-4500. And Harding students can also get involved by donating blood at the American Red Cross Blood Drive on campus. And Google has also launched a person finder for those who are looking for friends or relatives. If you need to find any information on them, you can check google.org/personfinder/2013-Boston-explosions. And so far, it has been confirmed that 86 has been injured.
Mental health advocates and some in Congress worry the debate over keeping guns out of the hands of dangerous people could further stigmatize mental illness and prevent people from getting the help they need. Many recent suspects in shooting rampages had mental health issues, yet were still able to obtain guns. Athena Jones reports.
James Holmes in Colorado, Jared Loeffner in Arizona, Seung-Hui Cho at Virginia Tech, all with mental health problems and all able to buy guns to kill. Would proposed new background checks stop others like them?
The common ground rests on a simple proposition, and that is that criminals and the dangerously mentally ill shouldn't have guns.
But it's not simple at all. For one thing, who's considered dangerously mentally ill? Under federal law, it's someone found by a judge to be, quote, a mental defective or someone committed to any mental institution. But state standards vary widely, and their mental health records often don't make it into the database used to make federal background checks. Among the concerns, privacy protection. The Senate bill makes it clear that sharing these records won't violate federal law.
what we need to do is we need to get all the records from the states into the federal system. Today, over 30 states barely report any records.
Take Tennis Maynard, suspected of killing a West Virginia sheriff 10 months after being released from a mental hospital. He could buy a gun because the state was slow in sending his record. A judge deemed Cho, the Virginia Tech shooter, mentally ill. But that didn't stop him from buying a gun because those records weren't in the system. Holmes and Loeffner fell through the cracks too because no court had deemed them dangerous and ordered them committed. Advocates worry this debate is stigmatizing the mentally ill.
Our concern is that the way this discussion has taken place, mental illness is being equated with violence, and that has a very, very negative impact on people. It's very, not only feeds right into negative stereotypes about people, but it could even serve as a deterrent to people being willing to seek treatment.
Athena Jones, CNN, Washington.
April is Stress Awareness Month. Why should you care? Because stress is a major factor in such conditions as heart problems, diabetes, and even infertility. So how do you know when you are overstressed, and what can you do? Here's Holly Farfer with more answers in today's Health Minute.
Let's face it, unless you live in a cave, you can't avoid stress. It's everywhere. But sometimes major stressful events, such as the death of a loved one or the loss of a job, can mount up and begin to affect your health. How can you tell if you are really stressed out? According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, these signs could mean you need to step back and deal with your stress. If you're tense, irritable, and it affects your day-to-day interactions with people. If you have fear or anxiety about the future. If you have difficulty making decisions. You have frequent nightmares or sleeplessness, or you feel powerless. Doctors will tell you there are things you can do to cut down on your stress. Try to avoid drugs and alcohol. They make you feel good at the time, but they can be a dangerous crutch. Find support. Talk to a friend, a counselor, clergy person, even a doctor, because sharing a problem lightens the load. Get out and be with friends. Having fun and laughing can really de-stress a person. And be good to yourself. That means exercise. Try to get 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Eat healthy. And always keep your mind active. It will make you feel a whole lot better. For today's Health Minute, I'm Holly Farfer.
And once again, Greg, the Harding track team has done a tremendous job this time at Ole Miss last weekend.
Well, obviously it seems secondary compared to what's going on in Boston right now. We'll have another update, not in this next segment, but later on in the broadcast. But the track team did do well. Our athletes are on a roll. Actually, they're doing even better than that. I'll tell you guys more about what is actually going on right after the break.
We are this close.
We are this close.
Of Mountain
To making history.
This close to changing the world.
We are this close.
We are this close.
This close to making sure no child suffers a crippling disease
Ever again.
We are this close to ending polio.
This close to ending polio.
All we need is you.
This close.
Be a part of history at Rotary.org.
In the event of a car crash, 3 out of 4 kids are not as secure as they should be because their car seats are not used correctly. But the latch system makes it easier to get it right and to hold your kids tight. Anchor, tether, latch. Learn more at safercar.gov.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you were really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Thanks and welcome back. For athletes, success usually happens on a roll. It starts slowly and then builds up and builds up and builds up until it becomes an avalanche. And 3 Harding University track athletes are experiencing what life is like in the middle of that avalanche. Junior Andrew Evans is running away with the steeplechase competition. His victory in the Ole Miss Invitational is his 2nd straight and the 3rd of his career. It is the first NCAA provisional time for the Bison's track team this season, so he's getting faster and faster and faster. 2 straight victories for Evans. Now for the women's team, 2 of their athletes, they've been in the middle of the avalanche, it seems like this entire season. Senior Portia Bell and sophomore Ava Zabaruska stacked their track resumes further with stellar performances on Saturday at the Ole Miss Invitational. Bell defeated 48 other runners on the way to her 400-meter crown in just 54.44 seconds. That is breaking her own school record and posting the 7th fastest time in Division II this season. Zabaruska, she took first place from 60 competitors in her victory in the 1,500 meters. She is now 4 for 5 in the 1,500 meters and picked up her 8th outdoor win of her career. Evans, Bell, Zabaruska, and the rest of the Bisons and Lady Bisons track teams will be back in action. That'll be this Thursday at the Kansas University Relays in Lawrence. Now the Bison's baseball team is gathering a reputation for being road warriors as well. The Bisons won their 2nd straight road series as they took 2 of 3 games from Henderson State. Make that also 2 straight on the road against the Reddies as well. The Bisons took Friday's game and then split Saturday's doubleheader. In Saturday's games, junior Trent Woolridge hit a sacrifice fly in the top of the 9th in dramatic fashion to bring home the winning run as they took the game and the series 2-1. The Reddies took the afternoon game, though, 14-4, putting up an offensive outburst of 15 hits. On the subject of hits, Billy Ninemeyer extended his hitting streak to 10 games over the weekend. The Bisons and Reddies aren't done yet, though. They will meet in an afternoon matchup on Tuesday, and that game will be here in Searcy at Jerry Moore Field. First pitch will be at 3. Now, it's the weekend after the Masters, but golf tournaments are not over yet. In fact, the GAC tournament is in full swing in Hot Springs, and both the Bisons and the Lady Bisons are in action. The Bisons came into the tournament ranked 8th in the conference, but they have stepped up their game on the big stage as they're now sitting in 4th place after the 2nd round and 15 strokes behind the leader, Arkansas Tech. A freshman is the top performer in the tournament for the Bisons. Freshman Alex Williamson maintained his spot, tied for 7th place. The Lady Bisons began their quest to defend their title in impressive fashion. They had 3 golfers in the top 15 as well entering today, pacing that team that is currently sitting 1st place again in the tournament. In the individual competition, So Yun Kim and Emily Plyer are tied for 2nd, and Brittany Marquez is just 2 shots back in that category. For the teams, the Lady Bison's closest competitor is Henderson State, and they are 12 strokes back after round 2 of competition. The final round begins tomorrow at 8 a.m. Now that's all I have for you in sports. Now back to the desk with Tajay and John Michael.
Coming up after the break, we'll give you the latest on the Boston Marathon bombings.
And we'll have one last look at your weather. Stay with us.
Is as much as 88%. The next time you ride your bicycle, be sure to grab your helmet. To find out more about traumatic brain injury, visit www.cdc.gov/traumatic brain injury.
I'm a big believer in the power of we. We can tackle the tough challenges we face and build community through service and volunteering. It's time for you to raise your hand. Go to serve.gov and get involved in something you believe in.
How will you raise your hand when they call your name?
Are you with me?
We weren't born to follow.
Coming home can be hard if you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan. You may feel like you're all alone, but you're not alone. At IAVA.org, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community, get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. IAVA.org. We've got your back.
Savings Man here with a story for you about two young spenders named Tommy and Sue. Their parents let them buy whatever they chose, like video games and designer clothes. As they grew older, they spent all their pay on fancy cars, houses, 2 lattes a day. They lived in the moment, never saving a dime. When they tried to retire, they'd run out of time. Working forever is Tom and Sue's fate, so choose to save now before it's too late. Visit our website to find out more, 'cause a happy ending's worth saving for.
And we have more update coming in on the Boston Marathon bombing. Obama did make his statement today from the White House at 5:10, and it ended at 5:15. He spoke about mobilizing appropriate resources to investigate and respond, and he still do not know who did this or even why. And he urged people not to jump to conclusions. He also stated, quote, "All Americans stand with the people of Boston." And FBI confirms that Boston Marathon blasts are being classified as terrorist attacks, and the president does not confirm or deny the classification.
An ice cream eating groundhog, a couple of scary Canadian geese, and a python wrestling tour guide. The video that will have you talking is next, and take a look at this.
Take a look at this. Eat your heart out, Punxsutawney Phil. This groundhog didn't have to look for a shadow to get a tasty treat. It's his birthday, and like most of us, his owner thought he would like to kick back with a little ice cream. When a couple of Canadian geese flew into the gorilla enclosure at the Sedgwick County Zoo in Kansas, the gorilla-to-goose confrontation was not what zookeepers expected. When a huge silverback gorilla drew nearer for a closer look, the fearless fowl sent him running in the opposite direction. The geese must have been channeling their inner King Kong. Patrons on a boat tour of the Everglades in Florida got a little extra for their money when their tour guide jumped out of the boat and started wrestling a 10-foot python.
I didn't even realize it was 10 feet. I thought it was definitely over 6 feet, definitely bigger than me. Didn't realize it was 3 times the size of my own arm.
Tour guide Tommy Owen said he decided to go in after the massive snake because it didn't belong in the swamp.
I had to make sure I caught that one because there's just one less out there, one less eating native species.
Once Owen got a hold of the snake, his guide partner killed it. And as for the family, they got a great story to tell.
That was a highlight of their life, or of their vacation for sure.
For Take a Look at This, I'm April Williams.
For one last look at our weather right now, at 9 p.m., or I'm sorry, at 6, it's going to be 79, so a little bit cooler than it, or a little bit warmer than it is right now. Then at 9 o'clock, the temperature is going to lower down to about 72, and the moon will be out. The moon's staying out until midnight at 68 when the clouds start to roll in. Overall, for our evening, it's going to be about 74 degrees with 6-mile-per-hour winds, so very clear, low winds. And then tomorrow, high is about 79. With wind slightly higher than today's, 9 miles per hour. It'll be cloudy throughout the day, and it's going to be warmer. And then at 2 o'clock, we have a 55% chance for a thunderstorm. But that's about the only time it's supposed to rain tomorrow, so other than that, we should be fairly clear of bad weather. Now, going into our 5-day forecast, as I just said, 55% chance of rain for tomorrow with that 2 o'clock storm. Wednesday is going to be 81, so the temperatures are a little warmer than what we're seeing right now. It's going to be mostly cloudy on Wednesday. Then Thursday, 75% chance of rain. We're starting with storms earlier than the day, and as the day goes on, it's just going to turn into normal rain showers. But we aren't looking at too severe weather right now. Friday is 59, so the temperature is jumping down dramatically from Thursday to Friday. And then Saturday is 64, so warming up a little bit. We're going to see what happens next week. For right now, it's looking like a good weekend.